Okay, so welcome back to Purple Shirts Ninja! Today, I'm gonna tell you a story. Now, the story, bear in mind, is fictional. Which should be fairly obvious when I get to some of the weird details of the story, but that is beside the point. Allow me to begin. So, it starts off. It's a nice, cool evening. The temperature's about 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Steve Jenkins is walking around in Pittsburgh, the city of Pittsburgh. He's wearing a nice tan jacket. He's wearing jeans. He's a bit chilly. He's a bit underdressed for the weather, but that's okay. He just arrived in Pittsburgh. He's kind of new in town. Actually, not kind of. He is new in town. Never been here before. Ever. Now, Steve Jenkins is if you were to look at him, you would guess that he was about 30, but that's more likely because he's starting to get gray hair early. He's actually 27. He actually gets fairly upset when people think he's one kind of 10-digit higher than he should be. It's one of his pet peeves. He honestly, actually, when people estimate him at 40, he's not as upset as when people estimate him at 30. It's a neurosis of his. Steve Jenkins, he has a clear-cut, very defined face. He's clean-shaven. His eyes are a bright blue. His hair is ginger. However, he's not Irish or Scottish. He actually has very little, really no Celtic heritage. Genetic mutations. It's odd. He's actually of mostly German origin. Jenkins, he's in Pittsburgh for not really too great of reasons. He just kinda decided one day, it sounds like a good place to live. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh seems like a really nice place to live. So he just kind of packed his stuff up, went to Pittsburgh. Now, he's lived in Pittsburgh maybe 2 years now, working odd jobs for different people. Not really the best life. But, that said, Jenkins, he's content. He doesn't mind not living the best life. Which is why he was more than a bit surprised when something weird happened. Now, Jenkins, as kind of a side hobby, likes to draw. He doesn't think he's that great of an artist, but a lot of people tell him he's a really good artist. It's kind of... But the stuff he draws is... well, it's weird. It's almost all grotesque. Everything he draws is... imagine human bodies, but the elbow bends the other direction and the wrist is kind of bent at a 90-degree angle. That's how he draws. But it's incredibly photorealistic. He has a lot of spare time, so he can be really, really, really precise. And Steve, just about 20 minutes ago, received a phone call from a sort of art publisher saying they'd really like to showcase his work. And they're willing to pay him a more than meaningful sum of money. This is a reputable agency. It's not like just some shady guy gives him a call. They gave him a bunch of information, he checked it out, they're legitimate. Working odd jobs gives you a solid basis for discerning whether or not a potential discerning whether or not a potential client is reputable. Now, Jenkins needed to take a walk in order to decide whether or not to accept. Now, in this particular part of town, he's new. Like I said, he may have lived in Pittsburgh for a couple of years by this point, but he's rather new to this area of town. He kind of bounces around. So, he got lost. Let's just put that out there. He's not exactly sure where he is in relation to where he wants to be, which right now is home. So, Steve Jenkins, is finding his way road by road. His phone is dead. It's basically worst case scenario right now. Needless to say, Steve is more than surprised when a man comes up to him and says, "Would you like me to point you in the right direction? You seem lost." The man is wearing what appears to be a suit. Just a suit, like black jacket, necktie, button-down shirt, black pants, dress shoes, dress socks. He's also wearing white gloves that appear completely clean. Now bear in mind, it's around probably 10 at night. If someone was to approach Steve, he would normally try to get away from them, but this particular man is somehow enticing. Steve feels compelled to accept the man's help, and the man is actually incredibly helpful. He gets Steve from point A to point B, and from point B he says basically go that way and then make a right here, and Phil, who the fuck is Phil? Steve makes it back to his house. Plugs his phone into the charger, picks up his home phone, dials the number, says, "Yeah, you know what? I think I'll take that deal." About 10 minutes after he says that, the same man knocks on Steve's door. Now that's all I'm going to give you for this story today. I may or may not continue this, depending on how people like it. I did actually just come up with all of that information on the spot, so yeah. That's why I kind of had to correct one of the details, or clarify some conflicting details, I should say. Thank you for watching, and until next time, well, you know.